Alright, welcome to the second example, or linear programming part 2. So on this one I'm going to go over the guided practice. Let's read the problem. Farmer Brown raises only pigs and goats. She wants to raise no more than 16 animals and no more than 12 goats. It costs $5 to raise a pig, $2 to raise a goat. She only has $50 to use for this purpose. Farmer Brown can make a profit of $7.50 per goat and $4.75 per pig. How many of each should she raise to maximize her profit? What is the maximum profit? Okay, so keep in mind, we'll look at the question, and the question is telling us maximum profit. That's going to be our objective function. So that's what we want to make sure we work on. So that will allow us to work on part D. But let's look. What constraints for the problem? Well, first off, we need to know, what are we talking about? What's going to be our x and y? Well, there's two things in this problem that we're talking about. We're talking about pigs. We're talking about goats. So we'll use that as our x and y. The number of pigs is our x. The number of goats is our y. And so, first constraint. So for part A, the first constraint, obviously we know, is we got to have some pigs and goats. So x has got to be greater than or equal to 0. Y has got to be greater than or equal to 0. Because at the very worst, you can have 0 pigs or 0 goats, but you can't have negative pigs and goats. She wants to raise no more than 16 animals. Okay, so that means, if I'm thinking of that together, what do I mean by animals? Well, I mean the pigs and the goats. How do I show that they're together? Well, x plus y. But she can't have more. She has to have less than or equal to 16. And no more than 12 goats. Okay, so we said goats was y. So y has to be less than or equal to 12. Okay, so we've taken care of this. We've taken care of the 12 goats. It costs $5 to raise a pig, $2 to raise a goat. Let's write that as 5x plus 2y, and it has to be less than $50 because she can't spend more than 50. Those are your constraints right there. So that would be part A. Okay, now to graph those constraints, I would need to make sure that I could, well, let's see. Start off with my things, or my scale. On this one, it might be better to go by twos. So this is 2, this is 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Keep it like that. I don't know if I could, I don't know if I could do anything else. Okay, so the first one, let's say y equals 12. Okay, x greater than or equal to 0. Again, vertical line. So that would be a line that goes straight up and down, right along the axis. Y is greater than or equal to 0. Again, another vertical line along the axis. Y is less than or equal to 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That would be this line right here. Okay, so then I'm looking at these two equations right here. The x plus y is less than or equal to 16. 5x plus 2y is greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to 50. Well, obviously this one, the x and y intercepts are at 16. So this is 12, 14, 16. At that point, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Got that point. Connect those two. Actually, I'm going to choose another straight line. Okay, and this is one of those where the ruler and a better pen makes that a lot easier. Okay, because I keep moving my pen as I'm lifting up. There. Okay, so that takes care of that one. And then the 5x minus 2y, this gives me an x-intercept of 10. An x-intercept of 10, 25, or 50 divided by 2 is 25. So I have an x-intercept of 25. I'll show you how to work that one in a minute. Let's try, I'm going to do this one in a slightly different color so we can kind of see that a little bit better, hopefully. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 is right there, that spot. Okay, and then 25. Okay, here's 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. So here's 26, here's 24, somewhere in between, I'm making a point. Okay, so if I connect those two, I've got, like, this my graph. Based on this being greater, greater, less, 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 that means my shaded area ends up being right in here. Just this area right here. Which means then I'm looking at the vertices here, 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 and here. So I've got 5 vertices. So then that means these vertices, so I've done B, part B, this is part B. Part C would tell me to find the vertices. I've got a vertice of 0, 0. That's this little bottom corner down here. Then if I go directly to the right of that, I have a point at 10, 0. Go vertically up, I've got a point at 0, 16. Then I've got a point here that's at 4, 16. And then this one is a little bit harder to see, but based on the way it goes, I would say that's at 6, 14. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. It's not at 16. It's at 12. I need to learn how to count, apparently. It's at 12, so that's at 412. And think about this. Another way to know, the way I could tell I made a mistake is I could go, oh wait, 4 plus 12 is 16, less than, so that keeps me that constraint of being less than 16 animals. But when I said 4 and 16, that would have been too much. So this point right here is at 610. Again, notice how that stays below. Okay, so those are my 5 vertices. Now for part D, I need to write the objective function. That is where my profit's going to be. So I want to think about profit. So I'm going to put part D down here. Profit. Well, how much profit do I make? I make $7.50 per goat, $4.75 per pig. Notice pig was X. So the profit is equal to 475 X plus 750 Y. Now that's part D, and to figure out the answer to the question, all I need to do is plug in these points and see which one gives me the most answer. Now, accordingly, it should be one of these two should give you the most profit. So those should be the only two you need to check. Put those in, check them, and then on Monday, we'll see what your answer is. Go ahead and try to work the next 2 problems after this. Hopefully this should get you an idea. Remember, think about how I was looking at this. How did I decide on my X and Y? How did I pick the animals? How was I reading the constraints? It's all you got to do is carefully read the problem. I know y'all can do it. I will see y'all on Monday. If you have any questions, feel free to send me something through Edmodo. Thank you.